what a lot of us are going through right now. So I want to thank Project Hurt, our police chaplains, and the national and local police wives associations who assisted us as well last week. We did 3 mandatory sessions. All employees had to attend at least one of them, and it was well received. That's my report, Mayor.
Mayor?
Yes. All right, any further discussion? Alderwoman Elliott.
Yes, Chief. I was asked whether or not the standard procedure of a drug test, drug alcohol test performed.
Correct. The employee policy states that we have random drug testing and drug testing, especially after being involved in a vehicle accident. So just for clarification and demonstration, that after the incident, the officer that was involved was checked at the hospital for fitness to make sure he was all right. And he also submitted to a drug test, and his drug test came back negative.
All righty, seeing no other hands. Thank you, Chief, for your report. City Attorney's report.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, everyone. I do not have a report, Mayor, but in view of the discussion earlier, I would like some clear direction. I completely understand and agree with the board's need to control and keep legal fees at a minimum. I want to make sure, however, that I understand what the direction is to me at this point and what your past practice was. Is it my understanding, or is my understanding correct, that I should only take direction from the mayor with respect to providing legal services? Should I only have contact with the mayor and take my direction from the mayor in that respect?
Mayor. Beg pardon, who? Alderman Kendall.
I think per our ordinance, it says that the city attorney provides legal services to the mayor and the board of alderpersons and anyone else that the alderpersons deems necessary. I think with respect to Alderwoman Yvonne Elliott's comments, I think the board needs to come to some conclusion or some internal process whereby we refer bills, resolutions, what have you, legal questions to the city attorney is what I would be proposing. That maybe we could talk about that at the next.
Alderwoman Reed.
Yeah, since I had brought it up, I was just, it actually goes in line with what Alderman Carl said. It was more of an internal thing for us, you know, the board, not so much for the attorney, city attorney, White Coleman. It's what we would do, you know, to mitigate or limit, you know, reduce how much calling is going out, you know, especially when it's not been vetted and it's not something that the majority of the board wants to happen. That way we can reduce the cost, but it was not on her or her office.
All right. Alderman Carol, your hand is up now. Alderwoman West.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I apologized. I missed part of the conversation. However, my concern is when citizens call the attorney, I am of the opinion that those citizens should pay for whatever time they spend with Attorney Coleman, Dorothy White Coleman. The other thing is, what I remember is as far as questions were concerned, that older people may have had for the attorney, and that was that those questions be given to the city clerk, and the city clerk handle those questions to the attorney. And my final statement is, so that I can be clear. So if I have an ordinance that I want to present, do I present that directly to Attorney White Coleman, or how do I handle that? I need clearance on that because that's what I'm about to do. Thank you.
Let's see, Alderman Reed.
Hey, Mayor, and that's exactly what I was trying to say. Like, I think me, myself, what I would do is to bring that to this forum, to our alder person's meeting, and we would vote on it. You will make a motion for it, and then we will vote that yes, the majority of us want to have this written, and then we'll pay the attorney for the fee of writing it because we're going to pass it. I think it's unnecessary for us to have our own little ordinances and resolutions written, and then when it comes to us to look at it, then we're like, no, I don't want that, and then we down it. So it's best for us to know about it beforehand. We're paying for something that we're not going to even approve, and that's wasteful to me. That's just me, but I don't know how everybody else thinks.
All right, Alderman West, your hand.
I got a question for the city attorney, not related to this matter. This was regarding like the property maintenance upkeep at Bissell Hill Shopping Center. In regards to like Family Dollar does not own that property up there. I believe it's the Kroger's Corporation that owns it, but there was a mattress that probably sat there for 2 weeks. Who's responsible for picking up that mattress? Would that be a Family Dollar? Because it was right there on the side of Family Dollar, on that part where they park. Would that be Family Dollar's responsibility to pick up that mattress, or would that be the Kroger Corporation because they own it?
It would likely be the owner of the property unless there's been some delegation pursuant to contract.
Okay. And then with that then too, like in the back of that property, they've kind of, it's like a grassy area with, I don't know, ivy growing at it, and sometimes it's not well maintained or mowed. So would that be the Kroger's Corporation that would be responsible for the upkeep of that area back there, or would it be each of those individual, or would it be just kind of like what you said, depending upon what they put in their contract?
Yes, if it's common property, Alderman Carroll, it would most likely be the owner's responsibility unless there is some agreement between them that dictates otherwise.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Alderwoman Elliott.
Yes, I wanted to ask our attorney if she advised you on the veto process, if she assisted you with the veto process.
Yes, I did.
Okay, what is your understanding of the process that includes the board?
I'm sorry, Alderwoman Avant Elliott. I'm not sure of what your question is.
What is the process that includes the board? What role did the board play or should have played in the veto process? That's what I'm asking for clarification.
Once the mayor vetoes an ordinance, then the board can come back and vote to override the veto. It requires a 2/3 vote.
Okay, so based on what Mr. What's his name? Mr. Kelly indicated, that whether it's affirming it or overturning it, then the process should have come before the board. Is that correct? Whether we're gonna affirm it and allow it to stand, or if we were rejecting it, both process should have come to the board based on that training that he did.
Based on my understanding of the law, if the board wants to vote to override the mayor's veto, the board can take a vote to override the mayor's veto. The board does have a role in the process.
No, but I don't think my other question is being answered. Are we responsible for also voting to affirm it? Based on what Kelly said, it would be voted to affirm or vote to deny. But you're not.
Alderwoman Elliott, based on your code, it indicates that the board can vote to override the mayor's veto, and it requires a 2/3 vote. That's what your code section says.
Okay, but I'm not hearing an answer to whether or not we supposed to affirm it. So regardless of, like, should that have been on the agenda for us to vote on, period, regardless of how we were voting for it?
If the board wanted to place it on the agenda, the board could certainly do that. But the board doesn't necessarily have to challenge the mayor's veto. That's an affirmative act of the board.
Okay, so my understanding, and this is what I'm going to challenge and present to the board, is that we should have voted to either affirm it or deny it, and it was not presented as such. And so with that being the case, it would have failed.
Alderwoman Avant Elliott, section 2-16 of your code of ordinances indicates that the board, once the mayor brings back his objections, then the board can cause the objections of the mayor to be entered at large upon the journal and proceed at its convenience to consider the question. It's on the board to bring that back. That's what's stated in the city code. The mayor stated his objections, and it's on the board to cause it to come back before it.
Okay. Okay, so what I'm understanding is that whether it was to affirm it or deny it, that did not happen. And that means that veto has failed.
That's not what it states in section 2-216. It says that the board shall cause the objections of the mayor to be entered.
Right.
The board had to take that action.
Right, and it was not presented for a board action. So then it would fail because it was not an agenda item for the board to vote on. At the next meeting, it should have been voted on to accept his veto or reject it, and that did not happen.
The mayor's veto was returned at the last meeting, if my memory serves me correctly. And at that meeting, the board could have raised the objections and voted at that point in time, it was incumbent upon the board. The mayor entered his veto at that time.
Okay. So that's my challenge. And so I believe that the process has been done incorrectly. And so with that in mind, then that veto would not stand based on that.
Well, the mayor properly returned his veto at the last meeting, and he returned it in accordance with the requirements of the code. If the board wants to vote upon that, the board can do that. It's incumbent upon the board to vote.
Okay. So the veto failed is all I'm saying, that I believe that the veto failed because it was not properly presented for a vote. It was originally under new business for the board to consider the veto, and then the mayor moved it to up above after public comment or something like that. And so the proper procedure for that veto did not take place.
All right, thank you.
Mayor, may I just say this?
Yeah.
The board can still vote on the mayor's veto. Coming upon the board. The mayor timely returned his veto. It
Okay,
was returned at the next meeting after the bill was passed.
Mm-hmm.
So, in accordance with your code, it doesn't provide the procedure that you just stated.
All right, thank you. Alderwoman Dales.
Attorney White, just basically stating what our ordinance states. The mayor can veto any ordinance at the next meeting. Once he does that, it takes a 2/3 majority super vote to override that. That is what our law states. I do not understand. I understand what you're saying. And I do not understand what Alderwoman Yvonne Elliott states, because the ordinance is crystal clear. And in order for them to override, or anyone to override the veto of the mayor, it takes 2/3 supermajority, and that's what the ordinance says.
All
And
right,
what the mayor stated, what the veto is final.
okay, thank you. Alderman Thomas.
Yes, sir. If we were gonna override the veto, then that vote should have been taken at the time when your veto was presented. And nobody at that meeting said anything about it at that time. So I think we just need to move on. And I believe the ordinance was followed, as the attorney has said. Thank you.
All righty.
And again, I point out that the ordinance says that the board can proceed at its convenience to consider that question. That's what the ordinance says.
Yep.
All righty, thank you.
Mayor, I just wanted to make a quick point that we're governed by our ordinances and
Please make it quick, and that's what we're doing. We're following the ordinance, and the ordinance apply to all of us, not just what
and the
you
state
want.
statute does too. So you allow me to have the floor. So I'm making my point quickly as you asked. So
Yep.
79.140 is the statute that gives more specificity to that process. And with that additional information, that means that that process was not followed correctly. And I'm challenging it. And so therefore it requires for our attorney to investigate and bring the information back to the board.
I
So
already told you what the ordinance say.
no, she said the ordinance, and I said the revised statute of Missouri that we're also governed by. So once she reviews that, then she can come back with a response based on her review of the statute that supersedes what ours say.
All right, thank you. Alderwoman Reed. Okay, your hand went
I'm
down.
muted, sorry. Thanks, Mayor. I was trying to find where the city attorney was saying that on 2-16. Do you know if it's A or B?
It's B,
It's B?
section B.
Okay. Yeah, I shall his home key without his signature. Okay. Yeah, see, I guess I'm reading it the same way that we had to vote on it, like what you said, attorney, that we have to vote on it to enter it. Like the words you just said, you said in order for it to be entered, it has to be voted on. And I guess entering is just to accept it or deny it. So in order for it to be approved, from what I'm reading, is that we had to vote on it. Now that I'm reading it, it's not just a written document, it's the board then votes to accept to enter it. Is that not the understanding you have, that entering means to accept or deny?
Are you addressing that to me?
I guess city attorney, because she used the words for us to enter it, that the mayor's veto, and then we enter it. And now I'm reading it, it's what it's saying, entered. So entered to me just means for it to be accepted or denied. We have to enter it, the board.
Yes, that is exactly what your code says. It has to be entered. And it goes on to say, and the board may proceed at its convenience to consider the question.
So it hasn't, so I guess it hasn't happened yet. If
No, it hasn't.
Okay, so it's just presented. It's not accepted. The veto is not accepted, so it's not valid. It's valid, it's just not entered. So however, the ordinance that he was vetoing is still set at the way it was voted on, correct?
I'm not sure I understand your question, Alderwoman Reed.
So you said it has to be entered by us, by 2/3. And that's what it's saying here. And then, so like you said, he wrote it, but it's at our convenience to enter it with a 2/3 vote. So we haven't done that.
Right, right.
So then it's not entered because we haven't voted on it, meaning what he's vetoing is not entered. So it hasn't changed what was voted on, right?
No.
If you're saying that the board can still vote to override the mayor's veto, I agree.
It don't use the word in our ordinance of override. It says
No, it
entered.
doesn't say that.
It
That's
says
correct.
entered. It's entered with a 2/3 vote. So meaning it's not entered yet.
And as long as it's not entered, then the veto stands.
The
The only
veto,
way the veto would not stand is that you, the board, put it back on the ballot as an override of the veto. That takes a 2/3 majority. The veto is solid until you override it.
Well, but it's not entered. That's, but I don't know. I guess attorney, can you research that and bring it back to us in January? Because I'm not seeing the word override or anything like that. I'm only seeing entered.
and you are absolutely right. That's not in your code. But when you vote, essentially you would be voting to override the mayor's veto. And if there is a 2/3 vote, then that's what happens. The veto does not stand if a 2/3 majority votes against the veto.
You get that?
So can you kind of further explain the enter part at the January meeting?
Sure,
Is that possible?
sure, I
Ma'am?
can do that.
Yeah, thank
And
you. I'm
Basically,
just,
the board would have to vote to override the mayor's veto or not.
Okay.
okay, thank you.
Unfinished business, consultant attorney contract, Dr. Elliott, what
Okay,
proceed?
all right. So until that happens,
There we go.
I'm making a motion for the contract to be signed by tomorrow. So let me put my motion in. All right, I move for the mayor to sign and forward the consultant contract for Helmet Star, approved on 11/5/2020 by noon tomorrow, December 18th, 2020. The contract is not signed by noon. The president of the Alderman Board, as approved by the board, will be allowed to sign to execute the contract. Let me correct the some of the typos. That's my motion.
I second that, Mayor.
Attorney, is that motion in order? Because this is ludicrous. You cannot do what you just made a motion to do. That is not the proper procedure.
The veto wasn't the proper procedure. And the veto wasn't a proper procedure. We have this meeting and last meeting and this meeting, and that was the time frame in which to address the veto. It was on the agenda for us to approve under new business, and then it was moved and it was not. But either way, I'm not discussing it. It's been seconded, but
Okay. Roll call, I think, Madam Clerk.
Discussion.
Are there any discussion? Yeah. Okay. Alderwoman Dales.
Mayor, apparently Alderwoman Avant Elliott wants someone like O'Keefe and Mr. Starr to come in and dictate what they want to be done on the board. She has no authority, and she can make the
Mayor,
motion.
Mayor, I have a
Wait,
point of
let me
order, like,
finish. Let me
let's
finish.
stick on
Let me
topic.
finish.
No,
I am going
Alderwoman,
to
Mayor,
finish.
can you
I am
please
going to
allow her
finish.
stick
I
on
am going to
topic
finish.
on the
I'm going to
attorney,
finish.
please?
Where she has
The
no
mayor
authority,
has to
and if they want to
recognize the
override,
point of
if they want to
order,
override the
please,
Alderwoman
veto,
Reed.
they need to.
please.
If they need to override,
Reed,
if
no one interrupted you.
thank
No,
you,
but I'm
Myra.
saying we stuck
Thank you,
on
Myra.
topic,
Thank you, Myra.
Mayor.
It's their
The
way or
topic
no
about
way.
the
This is
attorney.
unacceptable. And if they
So
want
can
to
she
override
please
the
stay
veto, they
on
need to
the
do it
topic
according to the
of
ordinance.
the attorney?
And the
That's
mayor
all
is
I'm
not gonna
asking
pay
for
for
you.
it.
Alderwoman Reed, you out of order. You know you out of order.
I've just asked you to say what you want to say. All I asked is for her to stay on topic. What that line item
You
says
can't
is
tell me
about
I am
the
on topic.
attorney.
I am talking
Mayor,
and I did
that's
not
it.
overtalk you.
Alderwoman,
I did not overtalk you.
being non-decorative.
Again, Mayor,
let me
Mayor, I am stating to you and to the citizens, it is very obvious and clear to the citizens that Alderwoman Avant Elliott and the rest of them,
To
Reed,
the point.
whoever,
Can you please
Once
be
that-
referring to our
Mayor,
name
Mayor, I am talking
process?
to you
Thank you.
that they
Stick
want to
to the
have an
point. Nobody
attorney
said that.
that can do the things that they want to do to give her the power that she wants to. It's crystal clear in the ordinance that if they want to override the veto, they need 2/3 vote.
Okay.
And
Exactly
if
what
she
we're talking about in
and also
training here.
according to the ordinance, the only time the president of the board can do anything is when the mayor is not available.
That's right. Alderman Thomas.
Yes.
Stick on the point. Different right line.
It was other people talking. I thought they might have had something else to say, but we've been read the ordinance. It is very clear that the veto is in place, that Alderwoman Elliott is putting forth this motion in an attempt to take the power that she does not have. And this is wrong. It's wrong for us as a board to agree with it, and it's wrong for the citizens to who have voted us into office to, well, she put this up while I was talking, and I think that she should have put that up when she was talking.
Who put that up?
Which is unfair.
She
Fran, can you
shared,
please
she
take
shared
that
the
down?
screen with,
I don't know how to take that down.
you can take it down, Fran, because she put it up. And I think that that's totally wrong. And the veto will stand. That's all I have to say, Mayor.
Okay.
Can you clear the screen, please?
Clear the screen.
Who's requesting that? Chair, are you
I
requesting?
don't know. I'm requesting that the screen be cleared. If we're gonna
Okay,
take a
thank
vote,
you. As long as the chair is requesting it, thank you.
clear. Thank you. All right, it's a motion and second that we would, well, state your motion.
It's in the chat, Frank.
I'm gonna read it.
Yeah.
May I have my hand up?
Proceed.
Yes, thank you. This is what we went through with that training that we had with Pat Kelly, that you wanted him to come back and train all of us that we had last Thursday, is that we stick to the topics at hand. At no time during my talking did I point out or call any alder person name. I didn't even call out your name or anything like that. Yes, I called out city attorney, which is a title, and asked her to explain the word entered. When we start calling out each other name and directing things like that, that's when the environment gets hostile. And that's when everybody gets upset. So when I asked for your point of order, I was asking for you to say, please do not direct things at people like that. Stick to the topic at hand. When we do that, that's when we get out of hand. We were going well and fine. People can make their comments without directing it at each other. That's all I'm asking of you, to keep that right. No matter if it comes from me, comes from anybody. I'm not calling people out at their name. I'm not calling them out or saying you this, that, and the other, you want to do that. That's all I'm asking of you.
Well, let me just share this with you. If you ask for a point of order and just keep talking and keep shouting it out, before I can, let me finish, before I can get the person that you're calling the point of order on, before I can get their attention to address your point of order. But if both of y'all are talking, then, I mean, there's nothing I can do but try to get one of y'all to wait until I can cipher the, you know. But your point of order, I mean, sure, I would have accepted that. But when you just keep talking, and the other person is talking, what am I to do? All right, read your motion, Alderwoman Elliott.
Can you see it in the chat? I read it before.
Read it again. You want us to vote on it? Read it
I
again.
know, but the chair restates the motion.
Madam Clerk, read the motion.
Move for the mayor to sign and forward the consulting contract the Helmet Store approved on 11/5/2020 by noon tomorrow, December 18, 2020. If the contract is not signed by noon, the president of the Alderman Board, as approved by the board, will be allowed to sign to execute the contract made by Alderwoman Avant Elliott.
Seconded by Alderman.
Second by Alderwoman Reed.
Roll call vote.
Mayor, before you proceed with the vote, in accordance with your code, only the mayor has the authority to execute contracts.
Okay.
So,
And it said if he does not sign as the board has approved, it said that it is valid as such.
that's you saying that.
No,
Call the roll. We'll see.
put up the screen back.
We'll see.
Okay, Alderwoman West. You're muted.
Yes.
Okay. Alderwoman Reed,
Yes.
Alderman Carroll,
Yes.
Alderman Thomas, You're muted.
No,
Alderwoman Dales.
This is an invalid motion and the
Let's vote, baby.
board
Let's-
president does not
let's
have the
vote. Go
authority.
ahead.
And
Go
no.
ahead. Oh,
I'm sorry, what did you say?
And the board president does
No.
not have the authority and no. And he
No
can
is your
veto
answer.
that again too.
Okay.
And Mayor, you can veto that right now.
Alderwoman Avant Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 yes and 2 no's.
Okay. Let's move forward.
For the record, how is the motion?
Well, that motion that was presented passed.
Okay.
All righty. Appointment of Kenneth Bryant to Board of Adjustment. I'm recommending that the board would accept that appointment.
Mayor, I see the liquor license approval next under new business. Do you have a different agenda?
Yeah, it was
Well-
3 different agendas, so the last one is what he's looking at now.
Okay.
That was the last email I sent to you.
Alderwoman Elliott.
Yes. May I ask, Fran, did we get the application?
I did not receive anything from Mr. Bryant.
Okay, Mayor, that's what we were pending. So it was on the agenda, pending those documents, and we never received them.
Okay. So it is the board's, I see no other hands up, so that's the board putting that on hold then, I guess, until they get the, till they get his resume or something.
Yes, I would like to make a motion for the approval of the candidate for the Board of Adjustment be placed on the next agenda. Next board meeting agenda.
Alderwoman West, Carol,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposers, nay. All right, be placed on the next agenda. Park and Rec Director position. I'm recommending, what is, James Currency to fill that position. We interviewed, we got 3 applications and we interviewed 2. I mean, we interviewed all 3 and we picked this one out of the 3. His application for the position of Director of Park and Recreation is what we are recommending him for. He has a master's degree in recreation administration and a bachelor's degree in commercial recreation. He is also a certified park and recreation professional. His core competency are operation, programming, human resource, finance, and communication. He is experienced in budget administration, contract negotiation, vendor communication, report generation, and using sponsorship for events. His work experience in the field is about 8 years and about 6 years in leadership and management roles. The police department conducted a thorough background check to validate his education experience and personnel and professional character and history. His previous and current supervisor, co-worker, friends, and neighbors described him as friendly, hardworking, innovative, and a perfect fit for the Director of Parks and Recreation. We are fortunate to have the opportunity to bring him to the Bell Fountain Neighbors family. as he is gold standard of his industry. Therefore, I recommend his appointment to the Director of Parks and Recreation for approval by the board. What is your pleasure? Alderwoman Elliott.
Is he here today? Is he on the call?
I don't know. James, are you on the phone? I mean, are you on the call? I don't see him. I'm assuming he got the information, didn't he, Fran?
No, I did not send him anything. I thought you and the chief was handling that.
He's not on the line then.
Okay. Have you concluded on his salary based on our salary scale? 'Cause we
Yes.
have to vote on that.
Yes.
Are you ready to share what step he's on? You don't have to do the amount if you tell us the step, but I think Alderman Carroll may not know I don't know if he has the ordinance. What step will he be on?
Is the chief still on?
Yes, sir. I'm looking up that information now. The actual pay is $52,020 annually. The step that it does fall under is step 1 with a master's.
Okay.
Step 1 is 5 to 9 years of experience, and he has 8.
And what did we have a clause down there? Because I'm not looking at it, Chief, for him to be at a different level based on his experience. Like since he has 8, did it say 10? What was how he could get on the next level under masters?
Okay, so the matrix says step 1, 5 to 9 years, step 2, 10 to 14, step 3, 15 or more. So
Okay.
you couldn't, yeah, so that's it. Otherwise it makes no other statement except for 5 years minimum of experience and 2% performance-based raises if applicable. So
Okay. Thank you so much.
you're welcome.
Alderman Thomas. Alderman Thomas, you're muted.
He took his hand down. Everyone should take their hand down when they finish, so.
Oh, okay. Alderwoman Dales.
Mayor, can I ask Fran a question?
Sure.
Fran, were you given the information to contact the candidate to know that he was going to be offered the position?
As I said, I did not because the mayor and the chief was handling that. So I did not.
So the question is, were you given the information?
I just
No.
said I did not.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I put it back up.
Alderman Carroll.
You're muted.
I'm going to make that motion, but let me put it here in the chat. James, can you spell his last name? I don't have his resume in front of me.
It's K-I-R-I-N-C-I.
Hold on, you're going too fast for me. K-I-R-I-N.
I-N-C-I-C-H.
I would like to move to approve the appointment of James Kernach as Parks and Recreation Director.
I second.
Who did the second?
Alderwoman West.
West, okay,
Mayor,
yeah.
I would like to make a motion to amend and add a salary of $52,020. Is that correct, Chief?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Alderman Carroll,
I second.
Alderwoman Reed,
I was just wondering, when I used to hire individuals to be over departments, did the rec center have a chance to sit with him and talk with him? Because half of the concern is not if he can do the job, but you like to know that that it's a good working condition, that they will get along. People, when there's a good rapport, things work well. Were they able to give you their recommendation on him?
yes.
Who got to interview him from the rec center? Can you share?
Amy was part of the interview,
Okay, awesome. Thanks.
and he's been over. She took him over to the tour, and he met everybody and that sort of thing. So everybody's happy with it.
Mayor, can I ask one additional clarifying question?
Go right ahead.
When would be his effective date?
Well,
Because-
2 weeks after we approve him, he want to give 2 weeks notice to his current employer.
Okay, so we looking in January, January possibly,
The tentative date we discussed was January 4th.
January the 4th. Okay. Okay.
All right, seeing no hands, are we ready to, is there a vote now? We did make a motion, didn't we?
Yes, you made a motion and
All
second.
I'll call the roll in right there. All in favor,
Alderwoman,
vote aye.
you want me to call a roll, man?
Call the roll. And
Okay.
don't vote aye.
Alderwoman West,
Yes.
Alderwoman Reed. You're muted, Reed.
I'm sorry, Mayor, are we voting on just the amendment first and then the approval? Because I'm believing we're voting on the amendment, so I would say yes to the amendment.
What amendment?
There was an amendment for the motion to add the salary of $52,200.
Okay.
52,020.
So, we vote on, that's the amendment, so.
Okay. Alderman Carroll,
Yes.
Alderman Thomas,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dales,
Yes.
Alderwoman Avant Elliott.
Yes.
Okay.
How did the vote go, Madam Clerk?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yes, Mayor.
Okay.
I would like to make a motion. So someone needs the motion for all of it now. I guess that's one whole.
That's true. Go right ahead. I don't see any hands up, so somebody make the motion. I don't see it. Alderman Carroll,
Hold on, let me type it.
While he's typing, can I ask the attorney whether or not we should do this by ordinance? Mayor?
This,
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry, this is an appointment
Right.
to the Board of Adjustment.
No,
No,
No.
skip that.
Frank Hire here.
I'm sorry.
This is a part,
I'm sorry, we're on B.
who's on mute? This is hiring a park and rec director. So I think we had all.
It would probably be preferable to do it by ordinance because a resolution doesn't have the same binding effect of an ordinance. May I ask how you handled this in the past?
The salary had to be set by ordinance, and then I believe the person was voted on. I cannot remember if that was by ordinance or if it was just presented and we were voted on. So because we already have a salary, because we have a salary already set by ordinance and it's a salary scale, we may need to just put in writing that we are approving him at that level. So then he knows in writing in some type of way that that's where he's going to step up from, is what we approved at the 52,020. So I don't know. That's why I was just asking to see.
Mayor, can I speak to Attorney White Coleman?
Right on.
What we've done in the past is that the salary was done by ordinance, and it just varied in different situations. It could say the parks director position, and we could just vote on that individual. Really, sometimes we really didn't even vote on that individual. We just voted on the position with the salary. So we can vote to accept him as the parks director tonight, and then come back with the ordinance that that's what he'll be paid on in January.
Thank you.
Let's see, Alderman Carroll or Wes? Alderman Carroll.
I believe, and this has been a year or two ago with this discussion, but I remember, I recall, I think at a previous board meeting that all department heads have to be appointed by ordinance. So I think we could go ahead and approve him tonight, and then Attorney White Coleman can draft the ordinance and approve that at the January 7th board meeting.
All right, is that Alderman Dales, your hand back up, or you never took it down? Okay, Alderman Reed.
Thanks, Mayor. I had two comments. Someone keeps writing in our chat that's really just for us. So I wish you would please, ask the residents or viewers to not do that, please, because it's for city clerk. Second of all, I am not sure, because since I've been on the board, there's only four appointment heads, department heads. And I remember setting the salary, but I do not remember having it written by ordinance. Is there any way we can approve it tonight, but is there any way for the attorney to research that and bring that back in January if it's necessary? Then it can be written up, but if it's not, because as far as I remember, I don't remember us writing an ordinance for city clerk. We just have the salary in place. I do not remember writing an ordinance for Mark Sanders. The salary is in place. When we changed chief salary, I remember writing the ordinance for the salary change, not for Chief Eiler. And so this now will be the fourth one that I have seen, but there is no ordinances, I believe, that's on the books by a person name besides the elected officials. So I do not believe it's necessary, but could you please direct the city attorney to research that? I don't believe that's necessary.
Can I make a comment and provide some knowledge?
Go ahead.
So I just looked through the legislative documents all the way back to the beginning of time when the city was incorporated. I did not find, number one, any appointments to a specific position named by individual
Right.
to ordinance. So like when I was hired, there was no ordinance passed on it. It was just a, it was a roll call approval of the board, unanimous, majority vote to do so. And number two, the salary at the time, which still is for the other three department heads, is a fixed amount per ordinance. So that is set. Typically when anybody's hired where there is a range or steps involved, just like the rest of the employees have steps. They're just given their amount. So they're the amount that the director is being paid is recorded on his conditional offer of employment, which he has signed. So he has agreed to that salary, which the range or steps are identified in the ordinance.
Okay, so all we need to do now is vote to accept 10, right?
So then that means Alderman Carroll can proceed with capturing the entire vote for the motion. For
Alderman Carroll,
Then so I move to approve the motion as amended. So then what we're voting on is James, however you pronounce his name, to be Parks and Rec director at the salary of 52,000, whatever. I can't. So that's what we're voting on now then.
correct. Roll call. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Someone needs to second it, Mayor.
Somebody second it. Alderman Elliott.
second,
Okay.
Okay, I'll call the roll now. Alderwoman Avant Elliott,
yes.
Alderwoman Dales,
Yes.
Alderman Thomas,
Yes.
Alderman Carroll,
Yes.
Alderwoman Reed,
Yes.
Alderwoman West.
Yes.
All yes, Mayor.
Approval of liquor license. Alderman Carroll. You're muted.
I move to approve a liquor license for Arch 94 LLC, conditional approval of liquor license for Aldi's Holy Name of Jesus, Knights of Columbus, and Katy Patrol, providing or pending the results of a background check and postponing the issuance of a liquor license to Kroger's and Quick Trip until further legal review.
Second,
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Alderwoman Dales,
Yes.
Alderwoman Avant Elliott,
yes.
Alderwoman West,
Yes.
Alderwoman Reed.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yes. All right.
Okay. Alderman Carroll,
Yes.
Alderman Thomas.
Yes.
All yes, Mayor.
Okay. Then the approval of the new police vehicle.
If I could start the conversation, Mayor.
All right.
Okay, I disseminated to the entire board all the bids that for a new police vehicle. The 2 Ford Explorers we bought for the fleet a few months back, those bids still apply. So we called and checked, and they are the same. They haven't changed. So we went with the same bids as before. The only thing that changed was vehicle paint, since we do the black and white motif. Last time we had to buy white vehicles and paint them black, leaving the doors white. This time it's in reverse. We're buying them black and only painting the doors. So we bid that. The 2 lowest bids were Lufuse Collision Center and Complete Care Auto. It is my personal experience, since we've been doing the black and white theme with the police cars, and that we have used quite a few different paint providers over the years, and we have not had that very good luck until we started using Lou Fuse. The quality of their work is impeccable. I am not questioning Complete Care Auto's ability to do quality work. However, I would like to remain using Lou Fuse Collision Center for the paint jobs because I know what I'm getting. And I know there's no defects, there's going to be no problems in the future. The work is that good. There's only a $286 difference between Complete Care Auto and Lou Fuse Collision Center.
All right. Any further questions or comments? Alderman Reed.
If we are not going to go with the lowest bid, is the chief mayor going to take that $286 difference out of his bond forfeiture monies?
Chief, you can answer that.
That's quite possible. That is an avenue that can be done.
Because then that's not taxpayers' dollars not taking the lowest bid. That's your bond forfeiture money. So that's my thought.
There is a part 2 to this if there are no more questions about the first part.
Alderman Carroll. You're muted.
Sorry. You provided a lot of information, and maybe this is the part 2. So what you're recommending is the Lou Fuse bid for $34,020.
Correct.
So that's what you're recommending, and then
for the vehicle itself, yes.
For the vehicle itself, and then the like accessories, I'm going to call it. Are you getting ready to speak to that now?
Oh, so I in that packet there is a summary sheet with the vehicle, and so we bid out the vehicle, got 2 bids. Well, we can only get 2 bids because it's the only 2 places available. The Lou Fuse was the lowest versus Mock-Ins.
Okay.
But everything else was standard. So you're talking about labor for installation and the cost for the accessories and everything else. The bids from the previous purchase still stand. So basically, that's still the lowest bid.
Okay, but what I'm talking about,
which was accepted before.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, broke up.
Which was accepted before.
Okay, so then we don't need to worry about it. We're just voting on a vehicle.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Alderwoman Dales. Alderwoman Dales. You're muted. Okay.
I'm sorry, Mayor. I make a motion to approve the new police vehicles as requested by Chief Eiler.
Is there a second? Second.
I have a part 2 to this before there's a vote on it. I am decommissioning the police vehicle that was involved in the incident on December 5th. It's indecent and disrespectful, and I cannot in good conscience repair and continue to use that vehicle in the fleet. Psychologically, it is damaging to my employees. It is an old car. It is high mileage. It is 6 years old. It is slated for replacement. Given these circumstances, I'm asking for 2 vehicles. Given the budget adjustment and the difference in cost comes out to be $12,542.39. I think I have the wherewithal and the ability to make a second budget adjustment given the employee staffing situation We're finding that some of the back end testing, like the medical and the psychological, a lot of these tests are pushed back. So the first officer to be hired and to be uniformed to put on the street probably won't be till February 1st. The remaining vacancies that we fill will be sometime after that. The process has slowed down because the things that we are having to do, and it's mandatory, are being drawn out because of COVID. Things have changed a little bit. So the monies I am requesting for adjustment to pay for this would be similar to the monies that I would be requesting later on after we fill those vacancies. It's foreseeably that difference in cost will be consumed by that budget adjustment. So basically, it'd be paid for out of already budgeted monies.
Alderwoman Elliott.
So Chief, from what you propose, what should we be amending the ordinance to say that you want transferred? Because it was
As-
83. Okay.
So as of right now, the ordinance would remain the same for the budget adjustment. Because I know and knew when I proposed that there wasn't a possibility of us actually hiring somebody before the end of the year. So I know the salaries and the pension payments affected would be paid out. So I knew that for sure. The thing that's in question right now is filling vacancies and how long it's going to take and how much money is going to be held back because it hasn't been spent on new employees. It's going to be at least a month's worth of funds, which would average, I mean, just off the top of my head, you're looking at about $10,000 easily. And I know it's probably going to be a little bit longer than that. So I would propose a second budget adjustment after we pass that marker. I can recalculate and we can do a second budget adjustment that cover the excess cost of $12,542.39. So right now it's just $83,551.61.
Okay, and the total CARES Act, if we can amend it to accept those dollars, is how much that the 50% that we have is what?
For me,
What was the amount?
the total amount was $746,000.
Okay.
I'm trying not to use any monies outside of my budget. That's the
Okay.
goal.
Yeah, but I had suggested, since we was making a budget adjustment through ordinance, we had not received as a board the acceptance of that money to go in any line item. So we need to do that when we do our adjustment. So that can be amended with the concept with the ordinance that's being presented today. That's all.
Chief, let me say this in regards to the CARES Act money. The county executive has said that that CARES Act money could be recalled at any time. We had decided not to spend that money on anything until we're sure that that money is our money from now on. And it has been recommended that we don't start spending that money because you may have to pay it back. All right, Chief. Sorry.
That's all I have. If anybody has any questions.
Alderman Diaz. That's on the hand I see up. Yeah.
I was just gonna make the motion, Mayor. I make the motion to approve the new police vehicles as requested by Chief Ivor.
All right. Is there a second? Alderman Carroll.
I second.
Any further discussion?
Doing it for what amount, Chief?
The amount that's the transfer I'm sorry, the adjusted amount is the same amount as
Of
it's
the
in the
bill.
ordinance right now. I would be making a second adjustment at a later time. I'll bring that back to the board with what the adjustment would be.
Okay, the $83,551. Not that one?
No, yes, that's what I'm requesting to adjust this evening. To
No,
cover the cost.
okay,
The remaining cost, on record, I will be making another budget adjustment within the next 2 months to basically transfer unused funds from payroll and pension, transfer to capital to cover the excess cost of $12,542.39.
so just for clarification, because I don't know if we're saying the same thing, is the $83,551.61 the cost of the purchase of the new car that she is making a motion for? So, because I was going to specifically indicate the purchase amount.
All right, so the total cost for 2 cars, it's $96,094.
$96,094 is what we approving. Correct, Chief?
Correct.
All right. I would like to make a motion to amend and add at a cost $96,094.
Alderman Carroll.
I second.
It's been moved and properly second that we would approve the police car issue. I see no other hands up, so roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
Okay. Alderman Thomas,
Yes.
Alderman Carroll,
Yes.
Alderwoman West,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dales,
Yes.
Alderwoman Reed. Reed is not there. Alderwoman Avant Elliott.
Yes.
Reed, did you come back? Okay, Mayor, all yes and one no answer.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's move down to number F11, Herschel Turner's resolution. Alderman Carroll. You're muted.
Sorry. I move to adopt resolution number 2020-11, a resolution of the city of Belle Fountain Neighbors, Missouri, honoring fallen police sergeant Herschel Turner of the city of Moline Acres, Missouri. Whereas the city of Belle Fountain Neighbors honors the service and life of city of Moline Acres police officer Sergeant Herschel Turner. And whereas Sergeant Herschel Turner was fatally injured while performing his duties as police officer while assisting the members of Belle Fountain Neighbors Police Department. And whereas Sergeant Herschel Turner was a dedicated public servant that had distinguished himself by serving the city of Moline Acres for over 5 years, the city of Pagedale for 10 years, and other St. Louis County municipal communities for a total of 22 years. And whereas Sergeant Herschel Turner embodied law enforcement professionalism and positively impacted the people and communities he served, and whereas Sergeant Herschel Turner leaves behind a wife, 6 children, and other family members, friends, and colleagues, and whereas the city of Belle Fountain Neighbors offers profound sympathy to the city of Moline Acres and the family and friends of Sergeant Herschel Turner, of whom all should be proud. Now therefore be resolved that we, the members of the Board of Aldermen of the city of Belle Fountain Neighbors, memorialize the life and work of Sergeant Herschel Turner, and to convey this legislative body's most heartfelt condolences to his family members, friends, and colleagues. This resolution shall become effective immediately upon passage.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote.
Alderwoman West,
Yes.
Alderwoman Avant Elliott,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dales,
Yes,
Alderwoman Reed,
Yes.
Alderman Thomas,
Yes.
Alderman Carroll.
Yes.
All yes, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Now we move down to the transfer of the funds for the police car. Now we just voted on that, didn't we? So
Okay.
that's been done, right, Alderman Carroll?
Mayor, we're at the letter D, the STP grant for Shepley Road. We
Okay,
removed letter F when we amended the agenda at the very beginning.
Okay.
And so we're at G now.
all right, Alderwoman Dales, Shepley Grant.
I would like to, okay. I would like to make a motion for resolution 2020-13, a resolution establishing the City of Bellflower Neighbors support to apply for the STP grant for Shepley Road.
Is there a second? Alderman Carroll. Alderman Carroll,
You're muted.
I'm sorry, I second.
okay. Any further discussion?
I got a
Alderman
question.
Thomas. Alderman, okay. But no further discussion,
Mayor, I got some questions.
okay.
Regarding this, does anybody have any idea how much this would cost?
Not at the moment, I'm not sure,
Okay.
if anybody knows that just yet.
So does anybody know how we're gonna pay for this then?
We're gonna pay for it by grant.
Yeah, but we don't get 100% in that grant, Mayor.
I know, but when we get the grant, then we'll bring the particulars back to the board for approval. Right, I know there's a
Percentage.
we have to put in. But we won't know that until we start going after bids and stuff.
All right. Okay.
All right, Alderwoman Elliott.
Yes, I had asked previously because remember we had 2 people to present on Shepley with specific amounts, and I recall it being very expensive. And I believe that Alderman Carroll has done the research for that amount, but it was very expensive before, and I was asking to revisit that amount because I did not remember, because I don't think it was sent through email where I could go back and look at it, but it was a significant amount of money, even with it being a grant. So do you not recall that amount? It was some millions of dollars.
Well, I know it'll be several millions, but the grant's going to cover a great percentage of that. But the resolution is not binding. It says proceed. So whatever we vote on tonight is not going to cost us any money until we actually get the grant. And I need to, and I need to caution you all, because I am not the only citizen that live on Shepley. There are other citizens. Consider them. All right. Any further questions? All right. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Okay. Alderwoman West,
No.
Alderwoman Reed, Alderwoman Dales, Alderwoman Avant Elliott,
Muted. Alderwoman Reed was muted. Alderwoman Dales, you muted.
No.
Okay. Alderwoman Reed,
Yeah, I don't have particulars now.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
No, ma'am.
Okay,
I'm sorry, Fran, I said yes.
okay. I'm sorry, Alderman Carroll,
No.
Alderman Thomas,
Yes.
4 no and 2 yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, let's proceed.
Mayor.
Special election, April 6th, Alderman Carroll. Alderman Thomas, I'm sorry. Alderman Thomas.
Yes, sir. It'd be bill number 2601
All right.
for the first and second reading. An ordinance setting up a special election to fill the unexpired term of James Christian, Alderman of the 3rd Ward, to be held in the city of Bell Fountain Neighbors, Missouri, April 6, 2021. Whereas a vacancy exists in the office of Alderperson of the 3rd Ward of the city of Bell Fountain Neighbors, Missouri, formerly held by James Christian. Whereas the Board of Alderpersons of the city of Bell Fountain Neighbors, Missouri.
Mayor, point of order. We don't need, unless you want to go through the whole bill, you can just read the title. We don't need to go through the whole bill.
Okay.
But if
All
you
right.
want to, that's fine, but it's not
All right.
necessary.
Okay.
All right.
Either way,
Go ahead.
then I'll just
He's
take,
already.
I'll
So
just take the title and then I'm waiting on the second, or waiting on the
Second.
motion. Second.
Alderman Carroll.
I second.
Is there any further discussion? Alderman Elliott, your hand is up.
Yes, so I wrote and presented this bill the last time until I learned that we were going to be charged to have an election back to back. So we were going to be charged for this specific one, and then we was going to be charged to have it again the next time. So that was the reason why I reconsidered placing it on the agenda, because of that reason. December the 15th would have typically been the open date for people to start signing up for that. We have passed that, and unless we feel that it is necessary to incur that cost, then I suggest that you follow the process of identifying someone that the board can approve to fill that vacancy until that time comes. That's my debate.
City Attorney, you may want to give us a legal opinion on that, whether or not we should just forego that. It doesn't matter to me. I just want to do what's right.
Mayor, before she answers, can I make a statement, please?
Make it pretty quick.
Okay, I called the Board of Election and spoke with Eric, and he stated, because we're having a general election for St. Louis County, anytime that there is a vacancy, the individual has to run for that office, and they have to run in the year of 2022. This is what the Board of Elections stated. So we don't have to, but that's what the Board of Elections stated that we should do, or we must do, to be fair. The individual will run for the ending term of Jim Christian, which is 4/22, and then they would have to run again. And that's the way it was done in previous elections for the city of Bell Fountain Neighbors, which was done by Rhoda. The mayor appointed her 90 days before the election. She had to run, and then she had to run again when that term expired. And so did Dinah.
All right. Attorney.
Yes, Mayor. I looked into that as well. And there is some confusion because Bell Fountain does not have a municipal election in 21. However, the election board does interpret the statute as Alderwoman Dales indicated. Now, I spoke with Eric Fry as well, and he agreed that the interpretation could be challenged. But nonetheless, that is how they view it.
They view it as we should hold a special election.
Yes, yes, that even if you appoint someone, that person would have to run in April
Okay.
because they're running for the unexpired term.
Okay.
Mayor,
Yes.
I think that any information that was found on something we will be voting on should have been provided to the board for consideration so we could read it for ourselves, because I had been in contact with them when I drafted up the ordinance in the first place, and all they indicated is that if we were to have a special election, then we would just need to certify on the last date, and then that's how they know to put it on the ballot. Other than that, it was not suggested as a, you should, you shouldn't, because it was a municipal decision whether or not we do a special, because that's what our ordinance says, that the person be in a position until the next general election, and that could be our next general election. So because they cannot say that you have to pay $5,000 to have this special election, because that's our budget. But if we supposed to have it in 2022, then we won't be paying that expense back to back. That was the reason why I took it off. Other than that, I had it on there ready to go, but it did not make any sense. So I do not believe that they will be advising us on how we would want to do something versus, them just being prepared for whatever we decide. So that's the point that I want to make about what I researched when I actually contacted them to draft the ordinance in the first place.
Okay. So we can, if we wish, not run any candidates in April. We can wait until the next general election. Is that what we're agreeing to?
Well, my understanding is that they understand that their interpretation can be challenged.
Mhm.
So,
Okay. So, all right, then we'll just.
Mayor, I didn't ask him if we will be penalized for not putting that on the ballot. And I'm sure that since we don't have it on there now, we could ask him to send the information by email to the board.
Yeah, pay for it, wasn't it?
Because it's only fair. I mean, we've done it before. When someone left office, they had to run in the next general election. But I know that we do things totally illegal these days. So,
Yeah.
well, Mayor, may I interject at this point?
Yeah.
If you are going to have the election, then this ordinance should be passed tonight, because as Alderwoman Avant Elliott indicated, the filing period has already opened. So you would be getting quite a ways away from the opening date if you waited until January, which is when your next meeting would be. So my advice would be that to pass the ordinance tonight, or basically decide that you're not going to go along with the interpretation of the election board.
Okay. So, now I got 3 hands up, and 2 of those hands have already spoken. So Alderman Thomas.
Yes, sir. So, got to ask the attorney a question, Mayor.
Okay.
Attorney White Coleman. So we could challenge what the decision of the election board is and have them give us their determination based off of our ordinance. In other words, the mayor can appoint somebody and then they just run in the general election.
Yes, we would not be challenging the decision of the election board, essentially what Mr. Fry said was, this is how we typically handle it. I do recognize your point is well taken. Bell Fountain isn't having a municipal election in 2021. So certainly, if you wanted to, you could challenge our interpretation.
Okay.
Mayor, may I have permission to share for the
Yeah.
board? Okay.
Right. Right.
Alderwoman Avant Elliott, that's the language I pointed out to him as well. And his response was that although Bell Fountain doesn't have a regular election in 2021, they look at that as applying to municipal elections. And there are other fourth-class cities that have municipal elections in 2021. So that was his interpretation there. But he admitted that our interpretation was plausible also. He's saying, this is how we've always handled it. The same thing that Alderwoman Dales indicated.
All righty. Well, board, what is your pleasure?
Let's vote. Let's vote.
Yeah.
We're-
It's 10 o'clock.
Yeah, that's all right. Is there a motion out there to vote on?
There's a motion. We're waiting. We're on the first read. So we gotta.
I call for the first and the second.
Okay. So we've had a okay, roll call vote. Well, let's do a roll call vote on the next one,
Okay.
the second read.
Oh, no, it's not,
Mayor, we don't have a, yeah,
it's not required. A first and second read not required for a resolution.
right.
This is an ordinance.
This is an ordinance.
Oh, you was doing the ordinance.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
What's in the chat then? Because I see resolution.
Oh,
in the
He's just done the first read. So we have,
Wait, go ahead. All right, go ahead.
Bill number 2601, an ordinance setting up a special election to fill the unexpired term of James Christian, Alderman of the 3rd Ward, to be held in the city of Bell Fountain Neighbors, Missouri, April 6, 2021.
And there was a second, right?
I seconded.
All right, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Alderwoman West,
No,
No.
Alderwoman Reed,
no,
No.
Alderman Carroll,
no,
Alderman Thomas,
No.
Alderwoman Dales,
Yes.
Alderwoman Avant Elliott.
No,
5 no, 1 yes, Mayor.
Okay, so there'll be no special election.
Mayor, could you have Alderman Thomas put that in the chat?
I didn't make,
You did make that ordinance. The last one was yours, right?
yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Could you put that in there so she has it for her records? Thank you.
You're welcome.
I thought we were voting on this resolution, honestly.
Okay. Nope.
Okay, are we clear? Alderman Carroll? You muted. No.
I'm sorry. Moving on to the next item on the agenda. I move to do the first and second reading of bill number 2602, an ordinance amending amending ordinance number 2580 and the fiscal year 2020 to 2021 budget and appropriating funds pursuant thereto.
Uh, Alderwoman Dales.
I second it.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Alderwoman Avant Elliott,
Mayor, we actually do yays and nays now and roll call on the second read, sir.
I mean, do we have to?
yes.
Can
We
I,
Do you want to do it 2 times?
Well, no, I was, well, all right. All in favor, say aye. All opposers, nay. All right. Second read.
Going on to the second read, I move to do the second reading of bill number 2602, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2580 and the fiscal year 2020 through 2021 budget and appropriating funds pursuant thereto.
And there was a second to that.
second?
Okay, roll call.
For the
Alderwoman, oh, question, Mayor.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Alderwoman Avant Elliott,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dales,
Yes.
Alderman Thomas,
Yes.
Alderman Carroll,
Yes.
Alderwoman Reed,
Yes. Yes.
Alderwoman West.
Yes.
All yes, Mayor. Bill number 2602 was voted on and passed by the Board of Alderpersons with the vote of 6-0 and will become ordinance number 2593 if and when signed by the mayor.
All right, the approval of the spreader for the street department. Okay. You got to unmute yourself.
I'm typing it in right now.
Okay.
I move to approve the purchase of a spreader in the amount of $7,012 from Woody's Municipal Supply Company.
Is there a second?
I second.
Alderman- Okay, Alderwoman Dale. Are there any further discussion? Alderwoman Reed, your hands up.
Yeah, Mayor, is that already in the budget or is this an additional budget line item? Because they budgeted for like 15,000 for, tools or whatnot.
I think it's already in their budget.
Okay, thanks.
Roll call.
Alderman Carroll,
Yes.
Alderman Thomas,
Yes.
Alderwoman West,
Yes.
Alderwoman Reed,
Oh, yes.
Alderwoman Avant Elliott,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dales.
Yes.
All yes, Mayor.
All right, thank you.
May I have my hand up?
All right, Alderwoman Dales. Go ahead.
I would like to make a motion to end the meeting after item K, moving all other items to the first BOA meeting, January the 7th, 2021, proceeding to the closed session due to the time. And I'll put it in the chat. that okay, Mayor?
That's fine.
I think that,
Yes, is there a second? Oh, I'm sorry, I got Alderman Thomas.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
they don't-
Alderman Reed.
My agenda, I don't have the latest one. What is the last item for new business? Because I have L and I think I have an old one.
Yeah, it's
the,
O.
you gonna give it to a friend?
The last one is O. The last letter is O. Is that what you were asking?
We would move L, M, N, O, the report of the mayor, the alderman, open to the public, and move on to closed session. It'll be 10:30 in a minute, so we've already been in here before.
Alderman Thomas.
No, I meant to take my hand down. Did you need a second?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, yeah, that's why I had it up.
You
Second.
already second.
I did,
Alderman Thomas.
okay.
Yes, yes.
Alderwoman Elliott.
Yes, this is our last meeting for the year. I think we should finish our business. That's my debate.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Let's vote.
All righty, all in favor of the vote?
I'd like a roll call. We need to do a roll call.
Roll call.
Alderwoman, oh, I'm sorry. Alderwoman Avant Elliott,
No.
Alderwoman Reed,
No.
Alderman Thomas,
Yes.
Alderwoman West,
No.
Alderman Carroll,
No.
Alderwoman Dales.
yes,
4 no, 2 yes.
Okay. So let's proceed then. Youth Commission, Avon Elliott, Dr.
Mayor, we're on K. We're
Mayor,
on K.
you skip, we're on K now.
All right. Alderman Thomas, K.
Okay, and I'd like to make a motion to include the written comments of the citizens, the mayor, and the alderpersons in the Board of Aldermen meeting minutes.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Okay. Any further discussion? Alderman Carroll. You're muted if you're talking.
I'm sorry, I'm typing in the chat box.
Oh, okay.
I would like to move to postpone discussion and approval, of item K to May 19th, 2022.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
I do have a discussion, Mayor.
I don't see your hand up.
I'm sorry.
All right, proceed.
I have to say this. Consideration of the documentation of the citizens, the alder people, and the mayor should be given to the citizens. It is unbelievable the mess that people have injected into this city. And you all need to be ashamed of yourselves. And I'll be so glad when that time comes for the citizens to show how you treat them. You need to be ashamed of yourselves. I'm done.
All righty, Alderman Thomas.
Yeah, in defense of my motion, the citizens have been recognized throughout the history of Bell Fountain up until this board. When their comments have been taken out, the mayor's comments have been taken out, and the alderperson's comments have been taken out of the minutes. The citizens have no record. No one's always available to come up to the city hall and listen to a tape. Uh, Again, I think that by taking this away from the citizens, we are not giving them what they are asking us for, and that's to be their legislators, and that's to be their representatives in the city of Bell Fountain. That is all.
Mayor,
Alderman Elliott.
may I ask the maker of the motion a question, please?
No.
Alderman Thomas, how many of your constituents have contacted you requesting for their public comment to be on our approved minutes?
10,
10, and they currently attend the board meeting now.
if they're not there tonight, they have been.
And all 10 of them have made public comment so far since you've been on the board.
Throughout the history
No, I'm just asking about.
throughout the history of the city of Bell Fountain, citizens have been recognized up until now.
We're not.
And that's the answer. That's the answer that I'm giving you.
Okay, so I have not had citizens to say, I want to read someone's public comment from the citizens.
Mm-hmm.
What I read and understood,
Mm-hmm.
that we are to take their comments in consideration of a vote that we're taking or a concern that they have.
That's
and
right.
Many of the citizens that come
and
on, let me finish.
Go ahead.
Many of the citizens that come on,
Mm-hmm.
you could assume that they do not have a relationship with their alderperson because they are making the board their first communication when they should have communicated with the mayor, the city clerk, their alderperson. This should not be the first time we hear their concern. They should have made calls before. I made a motion that the board accepted for written public comments to be placed in the folder as a public record to the citizens that those citizens that have an interest can request that information. So we already approved for there to be a written documentation of their whatever their concerns are, but their concerns, the objective is for them to be addressed. And so if an alderperson hear a concern, it should not be them hearing it for the first time. It may be that they have invited them to come because now at this point that the alderperson has heard them, the mayor has heard them, and they have not gotten a result, that they want the board to know that they have an issue that is not resolved by their alderperson and the mayor, and they want it brought for consideration to the board so we can potentially intervene if it's an ordinance violation or if we had the city administrator to direct that person to comply with addressing the issue. So it's not just for people to direct us on how we should act and who is doing what and how our minutes and all these things that are not essential to the business of the city is not what that is for. So we are open to listening because we're citizens. So if we can talk, they can talk. But we're talking about a document that is very tedious to go through to decide what somebody said, interpret it, paraphrase it, and all of that. That was something that we chose to end, which became less burdensome for our city clerk as well. And so that was what we did. So if the alderman wants to submit a report to the community that we asked to put on the website, I think that would be appropriate. If they want to hear our report, do a newsletter. Alderwoman Tapman had a newsletter for her ward. Other people, Alderwoman West had a newsletter for her ward. So there's other ways that we can capture their voice and also consider what they say. I was inboxed directly by my constituent asking for a directory to be placed in the newsletter. That's what their voice should be about, you know, getting information, transparency, things that may not have been done. So if I could not do it, I brought it before the board and said, Mayor, is it okay for me to do a directory? You know, the citizen asked for a directory to be placed in there, and he said that's fine. That's what the communication should be about, but not a whole bunch of non-decorous attacks that's unrelated to city business and could be addressed by contacting the alderperson and the mayor in advance. That concludes my debate.
All right, let's move forward. Alderman Thomas, your hand is still up?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go right ahead.
In defense of the citizen that comes to the meeting for the first time and they make their comment because they did not know about the meeting or they did not know how to get in touch with their alderperson, then their comment is not recorded. You make your point, and it was voted on back whenever to take it out. But however, I believe that the citizens need to have their comments included, as well as the mayor and the alderpersons included in the official minutes. That's the end of my debate.
Alderwoman Dales? Okay, well, in the discussion, where are we, Madam Clerk? Do we have a motion on the floor or something? Alderman Carroll?
Yeah, I made a motion to postpone this discussion and approval until May 19, 2022, because we've already voted on this. This board has, so the next board can vote on.
K through O, right? Okay, then.
I'm
Was that
talking about.
Mayor, that wasn't saying K through O, that's saying item K2, he forgot the T on there, to May 19, 2022.
Oh, just
when we get a new board in, as I was saying, we've voted on this before. We've taken it off the agenda. We've spent 20 minutes or 15 minutes talking about it. Let the new board, the next board that's elected, they can decide it. But as far as I'm concerned, we keep rehashing this issue out, and
okay.
So we're ready for voting then, because Alderwoman Yvonne Elliott seconded it.
But I do have a discussion.
All right.
As long as an elected official wants to put it on the agenda, they can be allowed to do it. So there can be a motion. However, when an elected official wants something on the agenda, we will submit it to you. You can leave it or take it. And I'm going to bring it up because the seats that we sit in serve the people, regardless to what mess other people try to bring up. The citizens have a right to have their comments in. The alder people, the elected officials, the mayor, that's who they want to hear from. So they can vote it down and it can still be brought up.
All right. Roll call, let's vote.
Okay,
Mayor?
Alderwoman,
Yes.
Right, let's vote. Let her have it.
Alderwoman Dales. I guess she left. Alderwoman Yvonne Elliott.
Yes.
She left. Okay, I got you, Dales. Alderwoman West.
No.
Alderman Carroll.
Hold on, stop. What motion are we voting on?
We're voting on postponing it.
Right, so if you vote yes, you're voting to postpone it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No.
Okay, so I just want to
Thank
make.
you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, because I know how you feel about it, so.
Okay. Okay, so Dales, I changed yours to no.
Right, that's what we're voting on, to
I
postpone.
think you need to, City clerk, please, madam, please start over because that's why it needs to be restated what we're voting on by the facilitator. Because she didn't know what she was voting on. So
Okay.
everybody, can you please start over, please?
Okay, so we're voting on Alderman Carroll's motion to postpone the discussion and approval of item K to May 19, 2022. Alderwoman Dales.
No.
Okay. Alderwoman Avant Elliott.
Yes.
Alderwoman West.
Yes.
Alderwoman Reed.
Yes.
Alderman Thomas.
No.
Alderman Carroll.
Yes.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 yes and 2 no's, Mayor.
All right, now where do we go from here?
For the record, how does the motion?
Motion
record
passes.
Okay.
The motion passes, but now some things were taken off the agenda. Where are we, Madam Clerk? What's next?
We did Elise's. Okay, now we're at L, Youth Commission, storage procedure.
All right, Youth Commission.
And that's, who was that?
It's-
Alderwoman
a
Avant
minute,
Elliott.
Mayor. Hold on. Okay.
I'm so tired.
All right. I move for the Youth Commission Chair to provide Fran the Dairy Queen gift cards, who will provide a receipt of the cards. The Youth Commission member in possession of the Hellmans should provide to the rec center administrators for the goods to be stored with the police department with a receipt of goods issue, and for all other purchased goods to be given to the recreation center for storage. I will put it in the chat.
Okay.
So the procedure is in recreation to storage by the end of next week, which is by December the 25th. Even though that's Christmas, they give them before Christmas to do it. We can go on with the second. I'm
I'll
gonna put it-
second, Mayor.
All right. Are there any further discussion? Alderwoman Dales. Any
Mayor,
further-
I think, I know the 4 are gonna vote how they want to, but, Alicia is gonna discuss that with you. And what if she don't do it? What you gonna do then? Okay,
Mayor, point of order, please. Mayor,
Point of order.
yeah, can we just keep it copacetic? We're just voting, come on.
All right, Alderwoman Dales, proceed.
like I said, Mayor, Alicia, the chair of the Youth Commission, will be speaking with you about the security of the items. She's already spoken with the rec center, and we know that this is a personal agenda from Alderwoman Avant Elliott against Alicia Smith, the chair of the Youth Commission. She states stuff, but she don't have any way of implementing it. And they can vote on it. But like I said, she's
Mayor.
gonna talk with you.
Point of order. I have sat here long enough and been quiet. Alderwoman Dales, would you please refrain from blaming people for things and calling them by name? Please, if you can, would you please try to do that? And that is my point of order, Mayor.
Thank you for your point of order, but let me share with you that in the future, if I can't see your face when you're voting, your vote won't count.
Well, let me say this to you. I sent you information. You know what? You read it, because if you don't abide by it, you would know it through a lawsuit. I'm gonna put it that way. Thank you.
Go ahead on and lawsuit all you want, but I need to see your face when you're voting. All right, all right, let's vote.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Alderwoman Reed,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dales, Alderwoman Avant Elliott,
Yes.
Alderman Thomas,
No,
Alderman Carroll.
no, no,
Oh, okay. Alderman Carroll,
Yes.
Alderwoman West,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dales. Did you come back? Okay, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 yes and 1 no and no, 1 no answer, Mayor.
Okay.
Did we record the vote?
Yes, 4 yes and 1 no.
I didn't hear the chair.
You had the clerk, didn't you? Didn't she tell you what the count was?
Oh, the count does not declare
What do you-
the motion. Only the chair does.
And when declaring the motion, the count says how the motion went. It passed or failed. In this case, it passed.
You're on M, Mayor.
Okay, appointment of planning and zoning board representative. Alderwoman Dales.
I think her hand is just still stuck up.
Alderwoman,
Yeah, Mayor, I wanted for us to get nominations to replace our automatic rep on planning and zoning.
who was
um,
Alderwoman? Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Who was
that
that?
was
Alderwoman?
Jim Christian,
Okay,
he was. So I wanted to nominate Alderwoman Miranda Avant Elliott, if she would accept the nomination to be the automatic rep on planning and zoning.
I accept.
all right. Is there a second?
Well, normally when we do that, Mayor, we get all the nominations and then we vote.
And there any other nominations? Any other nominees?
Right.
I have one.
All right, go ahead.
Like to nominate Alderwoman Elise Dales to the planning and zoning.
Any other nominee? Then we'll take them in the order that they was given.
And I'll accept Mayor too.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll vote all in. Well, we need to do a roll call vote on Alderwoman Elliott first. That's the-
Okay.
Normally, Mayor, we just say who we voting for, if I remember correctly.
We just say their name.
Yeah. Because you don't vote 2 times. It's 2 people on the table and then everybody votes for who they want.
All right. Well, there are 2 people left, Alderwoman Dales and Alderwoman Elliott. All in favor, now vote for one or the other.
Fran, this is an alderman vote process, so Fran would just call on the alderman for them to state the person that they are voting for. That's the process.
Okay. Let me write your guys' name down first so I won't get confused.
God.
Okay. Alderwoman West, who do you vote for?
Dr. Avant Elliott.
Avant Elliott is what you said? Okay. Alderwoman Reed, who do you vote for?
Avant Elliott.
Alderman Thomas, who do you vote for?
Alderwoman Dale.
Alderman Carroll, your vote, please.
Alderwoman Yvonne Elliott.
Alderwoman Dales, your vote, please.
I vote for myself.
Okay. Alderwoman Yvonne Elliott, your vote, please.
For myself.
Okay, Mayor, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 for Yvonne Elliott, 2 for Dales.
Okay, then Avon, Alderman Elliott is the appointed person.
Thank you all.
I beg your pardon?
No, I just said I was thanking them for the nomination and the vote. Thank you.
Approval of municipal parks grant resubmission. Alderwoman West.
Thank you, Mayor. Recently, when we had the training with Mr. Kelly, this subject came up, and I spoke to it after it came up. And there has been a lot of talk, a lot of beating me up about this. And Mr. Kelly, after hearing what actually happened, asked that I make a motion. And so this is what I'm doing tonight. I move. Okay. I move to proceed with the park grant application next year for the outdoor pool renovation. We recommend that Tina Zimmerman be hired, as she has already completed the process. She's already committed to doing the work at no charge, since she's already been paid. So, and that's the end of my motion. But what I want to add is
Hold on.
everything, I'm sorry.
Alderwoman West, let me second.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Are there any further discussion?
No,
Go
that's
ahead,
okay.
now.
I'm done. I'm tired of talking.
Roll call vote.
Alderman Thomas,
No.
Alderman Carroll,
Yes.
Alderwoman Yvonne Elliott,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dales,
Absolutely no.
Alderwoman Reed,
Yeah,
and do I call West? Do you vote? I don't know. Alderwoman West,
Absolutely, yes.
who said no? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 yes and 2 no, Mayor.
All right, let's proceed. Motion passes. Discussion of approval of response to Attorney General. Alderman Carroll.
You're muted.
I move to approve the Alderman Carroll's response to the Attorney General regarding the 4 Sunshine Law complaints.
Is there a second? I see no hands up.
Barbara is.
Apparently there's no second.
And Mr. Mayor, I have to lie back down.
you second?
Who seconded?
Barb?
Oh, I'll second it, Mayor. I thought Barb was second.
Okay. All right, any further discussion?
I got discussion.
Alderman Thomas?
Yes, sir. Um, it, I believe the board had directed Fran to write a response, and Fran did write the response, but then Alderman Carroll, since he did it, I have to say his name, said that that response didn't sound good. But Alderman Carroll, I believe it'd be biased on your part to write the response since you were part of that meeting on the 12th.
You were too.
Yeah, I was. So I did, but I didn't write it. But I didn't write a response. I didn't offer to write a response.
Carroll.
With the exception of Alderwoman Tapman, we were all at that meeting. Alderman Thomas, you were voting at the meeting.
Right.
So you were actually
right.
participating in the meeting.
You're right.
So
You're right.
as I've stated before, the city has to provide a response. Just
And-
like there's other, I still have the floor. As
Mhm.
there's other legal matters pending that I probably don't agree with, I'm still
Mhm.
going to support that individual who's being, you know, a potential lawsuit is being brought up against them. So we have to defend him just like we have to defend the city in this response as well.
Alderwoman Elliott.
I just wanted to bring up the fact that given the contract that will be implemented tomorrow, we will have a consultant attorney to review. But it may be late unless she's submitting it by email. We will have an attorney in place that could review the response. But I know that there should be a nice amount of detail that just says what happened. Is very simple. When was the stuff posted? Who was at the meeting? Was there a just cause statement made? You know, it's very simple as far as what it said. So if we're voting on the facts, and that's what he included in the document, is there any way that it can be shared on the screen? So then the citizens could
I
see.
told you guys one other time that I will have an attorney to respond to that, to the attorney.
So we,
I'll do whatever you want to do.
yeah, so we if we have an attorney to respond, we will have Hellman Star because the contract will be signed in enough time for him to review it. But someone would have to call him right away after, you know, once he get the contract for him to review it and be ready, because I don't think the information was forwarded to him when we voted for him to do it before. So then at least an attorney would be looking at it and, you know, going from there, because, you know, I feel more comfortable abstaining concerning this unless we have Star to do it, which would be the most unbiased way. So.
Yeah, I know you would be comfortable.
Because he's an attorney.
Let me see who we got here now. Alderwoman Elliott.
I already spoke. I lowered my hand.
You what?
I already spoke. You already gave me the floor, so I just lowered my hand because I gave my debate.
All right, Alderwoman Dales.
Okay, according to our ordinance, we will not have another attorney tomorrow. The mayor is not going to sign for it. We're not going to take an attorney that is going to be biased towards the rest of the members here. And also for Jamie to put in his comments, I would like to know, is he going to put in the reason what his just cause was, which was stated in the meeting, which he left out of this here? Is all of the information going to be sent in? This is to the city clerk. None of us can give a response that was in the meeting. The mayor chose someone outside that didn't have any information about this, but the board chose to choose someone who most of us do, I'm going to say, most of us, including the mayor, do not trust. And his response, I'm sure, is going to be voted yes, but I'm going to send a letter indicating that this is unfair, it's unbiased, it's and it's just a bunch of mess. And I have a question for the clerk, the city clerk. Fran, were you given information to give to an attorney to work on this pro bono?
Mayor,
Yes.
is that some, okay.
No, I called the attorney
Okay.
and asked him to do this for us, who agreed to do it. And so at no charge. And so we're going to get a response to the Attorney General from an attorney, not someone who was at the board meeting. We've already rejected the attorney that we pay because you said she's biased. So I got somebody that's not biased, who don't know, probably don't know any of y'all. But anyway, we'll get a response to Attorney General because that's what he asked for. Now you can send one too if you like. Send whatever you want to send to the Attorney General. But I will be responsible for getting one to him too that that represents the truth. Because all he wants is information to make a determination. That's all. So what you send to him is not going to have any bearings on whatever he decides to do. Anyone else? Alderman Carroll, your hands up.
Sorry, I don't have it.
Alderwoman Elliott.
I wanted to make the point because when things are said in these meetings, although it's one person, you represent the entire board.
Absolutely.
So when lawsuits are incurred, they're going to say all the person said. So if at no point before any character flaws or anything was referenced by about the attorney before, I don't think that this is an appropriate place to do that, because I received communication about defamation of character, and this older person is saying things and no one is redirecting them, and we can be in court trying to justify her comments that nobody is saying anything about. So if we can refrain from that, because we did not release our previous attorney on any accounts of something negative, so to say anything about it now is not professional. That's what I want to say, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, let's move on. We have a motion on the floor to, what is the motion on the floor?
People stop commenting in the box, we can read it.
I beg your pardon?
We can't read it. People keep commenting in the box. You haven't directed people not to, so it's hard to
I'm trying to find it, man.
the last motion, sir. That's what that's for, so we can refer back to what we are voting on.
But that's what the city clerk is for, to help me to navigate.
No,
through.
I'm saying people are putting stuff in there so we can't see the last thing, and that's why you can't find it.
I found it, Mayor.
Read it,
If this is the right one, I move to approve Alderman Carroll's response to the Attorney General regarding the 4 Sunshine Law complaints.
all right.
I think that's the right one.
Was that a motion and a second?
It was motion, yes, it was motioned by Carroll and second by Alderwoman Reed.
Call the roll.
Alderwoman Dales. Alderwoman Avant Elliott.
No, Fran. No, I'm sorry.
Okay. Alderwoman Avant Elliott. You're muted. You're muted, Elliott.
Abstain.
Abstain. Alderman Thomas. Where is he?
I'm here just understanding what we're voting on because so much is in here. We're voting not to put the, not to include the response. Okay, so then I'd be voting no.
Alderman Carroll.
Yes.
Alderwoman Reed,
I abstain because my name is in it.
Alderwoman West.
Yes.
Okay, we got 2 yes, 2 no, and 2 abstain.
You said you, say that again, please.
Okay, we have 2 yes, 2 no, and 2 abstain.
The motion fails.
You
Well,
have
it's
to
tied,
say what your
sir.
vote is, Mayor.
I beg your pardon?
You didn't share your vote for it to fail. You did not share your vote. You were the tiebreaker.
You can't go anywhere on the tie.
I'm saying that you have to break the tie either
Right.
on either side, but you did not state.
What was,
The motion, Mayor, was
Oh,
to approve Alderman Carroll's response to the Attorney General regarding the 4 Sunshine Law complaints.
not to read no more. No.
Okay. Okay.
So the motion fails. Let's see here. Mayor's report. It's 4 minutes to 11. My brief report is just to remind each of our citizens to be careful in leaving your car running in your driveway. I happened to see a young fella trying to take a car that was running. He ran up to it and ran right back. I don't know what he probably had a steering wheel lock on it. But just sit in your car if you have to warm it up. We don't want your car stolen. Also, thank you all for your thoughts and prayers in regards to the officer who, both of our officer and Officer Turner, Sergeant Turner, for your thoughts and prayers in that situation. I attended the wake and the funeral, and it was, it was very touching. So that's really all that that I have to report. We're not going to do the closed session, right? We're going to do the closed session. Alderman Carroll.
I don't have any idea what the closed session is about. So,
Me either.
but I had a couple questions for you.
What's your question?
Well, a couple things regarding the appointment of a provisional judge. I don't believe that we have a provisional judge. I believe there was one appointed and that he declined to take that position. So I believe we're in need of a provisional judge. And then secondly, regarding the Hope Church, I sent you an email and Chief an email, and I never got a response back about the noise being generated from those refrigerator trucks down there. The people behind there, like on Belgrove, they can hear all those noise, the generators from the refrigeration trucks there. I don't know if anything can be done about that, if they can move those trucks maybe on the other side, but if somebody could talk about that or find something out about that, I'd appreciate it.
What do you suggest that we do about that?
Can they move those to the other side of the parking lot?
It's my understanding.
Closer to White Castle.
White House.
White Council. But
North on the north part of the parking lot. They've got it right there by the church, which is, like I said, there's 4 or 5 refrigerator tractor trailers that are going there with their generators going 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then also, it looks like they've got a generator on the ground there. So they've got all of that those generators are apparently making noise at nighttime, and the people behind it on Belgrove can hear it.
Well, I don't, I mean, you're referring to the parking lot at Hope Church? Well, it
Yeah.
used to be Hope Church. It's Influence Church.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know I know what the deal is. The deal is that they're feeding people. Those
Fine.
trucks are bringing food in to feed the people in our community. And it is not a permanent situation. It is until we no longer need to do that. So if you want to go down there and tell the pastor that he got to stop feeding people, then, go right ahead.
It's not about that, Mayor. I've asked, there's a noise issue. So if you want to go to that route, I mean, they also said that you were making money off of it. So, and that it was a business. So, I mean, if you want to go down that route, we can go down it. But I prefer not to.
Let's go down that one there.
Well, you talked to the resident who contacted me about it. All I'm saying is
Let's go down the route like you
noise.
said, I'm making money off of it.
Well, you talk to him. I'll give you his number, and you can clear it up with him.
No,
All
you the
I'm
one
saying
said it.
is-
I don't know the resident. You said that I was making money off of
I
it.
said the resident
Go
said.
down that road.
That's what the resident told me. So all I'm saying is there's an awful lot of refrigerator trucks going on down there for a food pantry, and it's making noise. And that's all I'm saying. Whether you want to take care of it or not, that's on you. All I'm saying is there's a noise problem down there that I've gotten a complaint from a resident. It's in your court. You want to address it, fine. If you don't want to address it, fine. I've just brought it up.
Thank you. Anyone else? Report of the Alderman.
I'm sorry, Mayor. I got a final question.
What's your final question?
Regarding Troy Jefferson and that cleaning contract, we made a motion back in September to do an RFP regarding that cleaning contract, and I don't believe that that's been executed. And I think with our ordinance that between $2,500 and $5,000 in services need to be put out for at least 3 bids on company letterhead. And like I said, we brought that up back in September, and it seems to be an issue of compliance with that.
Madam Clerk, write that down to remind me of that, and we'll send out requests for proposals.
Okay, I got it.
Any other reports from the Alder people?
I had a question, Mayor.
Go right ahead.
My agenda is old. Are we on the right thing, City Clerk? Could you?
Yes, we are.
Okay, I just wasn't sure. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Meeting's open to the public. 3 minutes each, please.
Well,
Anyone
We were doing
wishes to speak before we?
Yes,
We were
this
doing
is Kathy.
Go right ahead.
This is Kathy Mason at 1013 Donnell.
All right.
I always try to keep my comments positive, and I really did think I was saying things that were important to be put in the minutes, but I've been attending these meetings since 2005, long before any of you were there. Only one of you know I attended them because he asked me to. And I attended them up until I just got too old to be out this late at night. I'm too old to be up this late at night. I'm really, really, really disappointed in every one of you. That's all I have to say. good night and have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. You too. Anyone else?
Mayor, yes, sir. Well, I guess we tried for the goal. I would like for there to be some priorities in our meetings next year. First of all, the board is the majority of the board is pretty tone deaf, okay? We're in the middle of a pandemic. There are people who are really concerned about just staying alive. I'm not worried about it, but I'm concerned about it. I'm disappointed that there's only been 2 older people who were concerned enough to even address that to the city. That's Alderwoman Tapman and Alderwoman Dales and their efforts to get testing, provide food, deliver masks, those kinds of things. I'd like to see some priority from this board. I read a standing order, and I don't know which one it was because there's just so many that are being put out, where there appears to be an attempt for the president of the board to actually govern the meeting, because the standing order said that the president of the board could have the authority to cancel a meeting. The president makes the agenda, and here are the steps. The president can appoint people to committees, and all of that is in violation of our city ordinances, all of that. And then we hear tonight where it's clear where you have vetoed an ordinance, which at the end of the bill, it states that the bill will become an ordinance if and when the mayor signs. So those words haven't changed. I only know of one attorney who's in our meeting, and she's challenged just like she's a first-year law student. So, it's disappointing is saying it mildly, but there are some illegalities that are going on here. I did type in the chat that I don't want my responses to be responded by anyone other than an attorney, period. And I am one of the persons who submitted a complaint. So I know you can only do so much, Mayor, but these 3 and 4 hour meetings really need to come to an end. And I don't understand why there are 3 or 4 different agendas, and then there's still votes to amend the agenda after it's 3 different agendas. So we need to tighten this up. I'm not placing this all at your feet because you only have so much, because these people are grown. But in parting, I hope everybody have a safe holiday. We're all social distancing, and it's going to be a little different year for most of us who've lost people who were dear to us this year behind this virus. So everybody stay safe, and I hope the next year we can start off on a much more positive note. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mayor, you skipped the alderman.
I didn't skip. Call for the alderman, and
Oh, okay,
one spoke.
okay.
No, she didn't.
I did call for the alderman people, and Carol jumped in and said he had some questions to ask me.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he had questions
Nobody
from the
else
mayor's report, but a friend normally calls us one by one, Mayor,
Well,
to
go
give
ahead
our.
on the call. Go on
Okay.
the call. Y'all go on the call, friend. We don't have to discuss that.
Alderwoman West.
I'll be very brief. And I'll just talk about the length of the meetings. Everybody has the choice to leave the meeting when they get tired, just like they did when we met in person. When we got tired, we got up and we left. There are other means of listening to what needs to be said. And as far as the residents who want to speak, we only have 3. They speak at every meeting. They never shut up. And so, I don't want to hear them. And I've made that very clear. And everybody have a safe one. I'm lying in the bed, half safe.
Alderwoman Reed.
Thanks, Fran.
Yeah.
Sorry, City Clerk. With the length of the meeting that is complaining about, I remember even mentioning that to Miss Kathy one night, and she told me, well, if you can't hang in there, maybe this is not for you. So I never even said nothing about the length of the meetings anymore. But if we all just pay attention, the length of the meeting comes from us debating and work that should happen outside of this platform before we get here, and then we wouldn't have so much debating. And if the meetings were being chaired properly, where people would only speak one time, no more than two, and only if they have something different to say that they should speak again. If nothing is being added, then there shouldn't be a second time for us to speak on an item. And I think our meetings will go much faster. And if we didn't point at each other and stick to the topics at hand and speak how we feel, like all of us are citizens, so we live here. I've been here 21 years, so I have a thought process, and I try to debate on that topic alone. So, and again, if the meetings were being chaired properly, we would eliminate a lot of the fluff and get it going. A lot of people that have been to these meetings before now, they have been there before this particular board and saw how the meetings ran, and they weren't being ran like this. So hopefully it can get better, going forward. When we start having our automatic like standing committee meetings where we will handle a lot of this outside of this platform and get at least half of the Board of Aldermen to agree on something before bringing it back here and then voting on it, rather than doing all the discussion at this time. But again, I thank you all for hanging in there, being there. Hopefully, even the citizens and us can be respectful towards each other, stop calling people names, putting our own personal thoughts into things instead of just speaking the topic at hand. I try not to attack anybody on this platform. And there's other older people that do the same thing. I like the way Thomas just debated tonight. Stay on point, just talk about the topic. And I think we'll have a great 2021. Everybody stay safe, have a happy holiday, and take care. Thank
Okay. Alderman Carroll,
No report.
Alderman Thomas. You're muted.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'd like to, first of all, thank the citizens of the city of Bell Fountain for entrusting not only myself, but all of us with the workings of the city. I'd like to thank the mayor for his due diligence in performing his duties. I'd like to thank my fellow alder people for their due diligence. Being a survivor of COVID from this year, it's very prevalent that as we end this year and as I end this year, that we look more into how can we help the community, since we are in one of the highest risk areas, and how can we be a positive force, the city of Bell Fountain, in completing and stopping and easing the pain that a lot of our citizens are having due to COVID. Again, I wish those that celebrate Christmas a Merry Christmas, those that celebrate Kwanzaa a Happy Kwanzaa, and anyone that's celebrating Hanukkah during this time. And I will see you next year. Thank you.
Okay. Alderwoman Dales.
First, I'd like to thank the citizens for staying up. And I apologize for the long meeting. Merry Christmas to you all. Also to my colleagues. We went to the funeral for Officer Herschel, and it was a really good homegoing. Lift their family up, and also lift up our officer, if you can think about him, because they were friends. And I'm sure he's deeply, deeply hurt, and our police department. I'd like to give a shout out to our police department. They really represented the city really, really well as the mayor at the funeral. We do over in Ward 4, if anyone is on this ward, and I'm not sure if it's happening in other wards, we do have a lot of people that are walking our neighborhoods that are just looking for opportunities. So just be careful. Some of my residents have told me that individuals have ran up to them as they come out of their door trying to rob them. So be very, very careful. I hope you and your families have a very, very Merry Christmas, and I hope everyone stays healthy. And that's all I have.
Okay. Alderwoman Avante Elliott.
Thank you, Fran. I would like to thank everyone for coming. And I wanted to give a special acknowledgement to a young lady. And I wanted to let you all see her. This is Destiny Wallace. She is one of the students at Riverview School District, and she got all A's. And let me tell you this. So just recently, and it's in the news, her sister was killed by her husband, and then the husband killed himself. So this child has received all A's despite that incident. And I told her mom I was going to recognize her. So please help me recognize Destiny Wallace for her straight A's. And I wanted to congratulate the people who got elected, that we have had so many meetings that we have not been able to acknowledge them. But I wanted to specifically acknowledge our fourth ward resident, Marlene Terry, who will serve as our state rep. And I want to also recognize Corey Bush, who will serve as our Congresswoman, and all of the women who will be taking seat and serving our community. I want to recognize them, and I wanted to offer my condolence to the fallen officer. And I wanted the board to be aware that the newsletter was submitted. There were several changes, and because of those changes, we will incur additional costs for that. And I'm asking and pleading that our city staff that I request information from would please provide it by the deadline, so we do have enough time to review it and have it on time. So we will have an additional expense as a result of those changes that occurred. And the other thing that I wanted to bring up, because the mayor didn't mention it, I wanted to confirm whether or not the Cocoa Santa is actually coming or not, so that the aldermen could participate. So Mayor, is that happening or is it not happening? Could you please confirm?
That's happening. The chief has sent a route out that he had mapped out. And so we're meeting at the rec center at 4:30, because the little parade start at 5. It's going to be an hour long, and whoever want to can put that car in it, and there'll be a police leading the parade, and there'll be one bringing up the rear. They've mapped out the routes in all of our wards. We will hit everybody's ward. So City Hall at 4:30 Monday.
Can Fran put that in an email so that all the people will know? Now, just note that all the people did not get magnets from participating in the parade, so we won't have uniformity there. But if you know, they're told in advance, those things could be ordered so we can kind of be uniform. Delwood is having theirs this weekend if anyone wants to kind of see what it looks like. And I think John Muhammad in the city also did it. And so Coco Center just goes through, you said he's gonna go through all the wards, attempt to go through all the wards? Okay.
It's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be a straight route, you know, because it takes you long to hit all of the streets.
Okay.
But the map is out. So we'll try to get everybody the map. And then
Mayor,
send it out to-
the email went out at 5:25 today to everyone. And the map, oh, well, it looked like it didn't go to everyone. Okay, I'll send it out.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
But it just, you know, Santa is coming to Bethel. It's just something to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's too. And as we go forward and the pandemic ends, I hope we can do bigger and greater things in our city.
I think that concludes my report because it's getting late, and I just wanted to make sure that young lady was acknowledged, offer my condolences and congratulate the individuals that we have not had an opportunity to congratulate, along with our now first African-American Vice President of the United States.
Okay, that's all of the aldermen, Mayor.
All right, then again, thank everybody for coming out, the board, citizens. I wish everybody Merry Christmas and a happy, prosperous New Year. Is a motion to adjourn.
I would like to make a motion that the board amends the agenda to remove closed session and that we move into adjournment.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. Ayes have it. And good night, everybody, and have a peaceful and restful night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night all.
And I just sent that email out to everyone that I see the chief sent it at 5 something. So everyone, I just sent that Coco Santa to you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Brian, did it include the map too?
Yes, it's the email and then a map is included.
Okay, so I still have problems sometimes with that. Is there any way you could please do me a favor and send it to my Gmail, please?
I did.
You did? Okay.
Is that the one that's Alderwoman Reed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I just sent it to,
Okay,
to that.
maybe it just didn't populate. Thank you. I appreciate you.
No problem. And y'all, I'm off tomorrow.
Well, enjoy your day off, ma'am.
Friends off tomorrow. Sweet.
Who said that?
Joe.
Thank
All right,
you.
you all have a good night.
Okay, everybody, have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.